Roughly 1 in 3 women experience domestic violence in their lifetime. Astoundingly, the same percentage of teens report it just between the ages of 15 and 19. It's a statistic that can establish lifelong patterns and cause relationship disruptions. Here to tell us how to recognize and respond to the signs of teen dating violence is Stephanie Brown, Director of Community Education at Hubbard House. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
We're also joined by Tonia, a survivor of teen domestic violence. Tonia, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.
So, Tonia, you have been doing some speaking as part of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You did a presentation at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in sharing your story. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal experience and why you thought it would be appropriate to share it this year?
Um, at 15, I met my abuser. Um, I had already been a part of violence because I was abused as a child, and the violence carried on with my abuser because all my childhood was violent, and because my childhood was violent, my abuser was able to carry on with that violence. And I wanted to make sure that teens understand that it's not okay to have that abuse because my abuser was able to hone in on the fact that my parents were divorced and I was coping with their divorce and going through a phase of understanding that I felt like my parents didn't want me, and he was able to home in on that fact of feeling unwanted, unloved, rejected, nobody wanting me. And he homed in on that fact at 15. And I had lived a sheltered life because I was brought up with a lot of love because my parents were married up until I was probably 12. And they showered me with a lot of love. And when they divorced, they never explained to me, hey, we're getting a divorce. We still love you, but we're just not getting along. And when they got divorced, I just felt like nobody wanted me. So when I met him, it was, hey, I love you. Hey, I want you. I want to be around you. Hey, let's just make this work. And at 15, I was like, hey, I done finally met someone that loves me, want to be around me. And I can remember the first time he hit me at 15 because I didn't have nowhere to go. I had to go live with him because I couldn't live with my dad anymore. So at 15, I'm living with him and I'm getting beat on every single day at 15 years old, getting smacked around, beaten the head. I'm not in school no more. I was a straight A student. And I'm getting beat on every single day because I'm feeling like I have no one. And I'm really wanting parents to have that open communication with their kids to let them know that it's not okay, even if it's not just puppy love, it's not just any of that. Keep that communication open with your children because you don't know what that person is capable of hearing, of them saying, hey, I love you, because you don't know if that person actually do love them, what they're wanting out of them. Is that love word can go, especially as for me, that love word was a trigger because I wanted that love. And you don't know what they're feeling, what that teenager is feeling.
Tonia, thank you for sharing that. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through that you did go through that. Stephanie, how common is that kind of scenario where an abuser is exploiting someone's existing vulnerabilities? And how often are these situations just developed in the absence of those preconditions?
The matter of fact is, if there is any kind of a vulnerability, an abusive person will find it and exploit it. And when you think of a teenager, there are some unique things that can make them vulnerable that most people may not realize. It could be that they're coming from maybe a home life that is dangerous or normalizes violence. And so an abuser says that, well, what else can you expect? Violence is normal. But it could even be that perfect grade A student, that person who is trying to be the best, and an abuser makes them feel responsible for the relationship and says, you're not being a good enough partner. If I'm hurting you, it means you deserved it. And so it truly is all ends of the spectrum that we can see those preconditions that may enhance that vulnerability.
This is a period where people are learning about love and relationships and dependence and all kinds of things for the first time in many cases. How formative is it when people are experiencing violence and abuse in those early relationships?
It is absolutely something that they can carry later into life. And so one of our key messages this month as part of Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month is to help the general public as well as the teen themselves understand that this is not a phase. Adults have such a tendency to look at teen relationships as something that's not going to last. It's the puppy love, it's the high school sweetheart, it's something they're going to grow out of. And because we look at it as this phase, we may not take it as seriously as we need to. And what if that relationship does last? Or what if the beliefs and the patterns and the habits that this teen is exposed to as part of this relationship is something that does inform how they carry relationships into the future? If a teenager thinks that they deserve violence in their relationship as a teenager, it becomes easier for us to understand how they may feel that way even with a different relationship later in life.
I mean, kids are notoriously secretive when it comes to their young love life in many cases. They're not necessarily eager to open up to their parents about any of it, much less something that might cause the parent to want to end the relationship or force them to not see that person anymore. So how do you advise parents to approach this? What should they be looking for? And if they suspect something's wrong, how do they do it in a way that doesn't just further push the child away?
Yeah. And it is challenging. We likely all reflect on our teenage years, and at least a part of that, we may have been rebellious. We may have had relationships that we wanted to hide. It's part of being a teenager is finding your identity, and you may not want your parent to be a part of all of that. What we encourage is first and foremost prevention. Meaning, if you can try to create a culture in your home where you have an open exchange with your teenager, where you bring up the topics that maybe feel more taboo, where you talk openly about their friends and you get invested in how the people in their lives are. If you start to normalize those kind of conversations before there's a need, then it enhances the likelihood that they'll feel safe coming to you when there is that need. Or maybe you're the one who starts to see the warning signs that a teen hasn't seen. Imagine again those teen relationships. An abuser may do the overwhelming gestures and statements of love, like Tonia talked about, making that teen feel like there's nowhere else or nobody else to turn to. For a new relationship, that could feel like love. But for us on the outside, we could see that as an incredible amount of control. If you notice your teen is always on their phone, which again, something a lot of teens do, but what if it's because their partner is always texting and they feel like they have to answer right away? They get nervous if they let that call go to voicemail. They feel like they have to share their location with their partner. Those are the kind of things that can be those warning signs for us. And so if you're that parent and you see those signs, approaching the teen again in a compassionate way, in a non-judgmental way, letting them know why you're worried about their safety, what specifically you have seen, and that you are there to help them.
We're going to have to leave it there. We've got a full screen up if you want some information about resources. Stephanie Brown, Tonia, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a moment.